are going to discuss about different sections of writing and how you should prepare for writing. Can there be a shortcut to score very good marks in writing? And how should you go about preparing for your writing test? As we discussed in our last class, when you start your journey of IELTS, the suggested course of action is to do listening and reading first and then go about doing writing and speaking. The reason is that listening and speaking gives you an opportunity to develop your vocabulary, presentation skills, organization, all those things which are important for writing and speaking. Like we discussed about the things like if you have got a computer, there are two things in it. First, you think about input, right? And then you think about the output. Okay, so if we consider ourselves to be a container and we want to present ourselves in a very nice way, first we need to have something and then we can give it to the world. Just give me 1 minute, I'll close the door. So in case you are starting your journey of IELTS, my request to you would be to focus on listening and reading first so that you develop proficiency in this particular aspect, and then you work on writing and speaking. Although you can simultaneously work on all the four sections: listening, writing, reading, and listening, reading, writing, and speaking. But in case you want to have a strong hand on English first, see, there are two aspects. One is English and other is IELTS, right? So English is the base or the foundation of this test, isn't it? So in case you come from a very good English background, then you can prepare for IELTS. Mostly when you do the IELTS test, the errors are those of English. They are not of IELTS. I mean, IELTS as such is, of course, there are some specific things that you have to take care of when you do the IELTS test. But then those things are not as important as the foundation itself. So when you do writing, most of the errors are the errors of English, not the errors of IELTS as such, you know. So you have to first focus on English separately. In case you come from a background which is wherein you didn't get an opportunity to work on your English, the first thing that you should focus on is to have a very strong English skill and then delve upon developing your IELTS skills. So listening and reading are the two ways to develop your English to a great extent. So in case you are starting your journey of IELTS, and in case you're just beginning, it is advisable to go for listening and reading first. Do a lot of listening and reading practice. Once you have done a lot of listening and reading practice, then you can graduate to writing and speaking. In case you already have a background in English and you are good with it, you can directly start working on all the four sections. All right. Okay. So this particular session is focused on discussing about the writing part of IELTS, and that too we're going to specifically talk about the essays. Before I delve into essays, I would like to tell you about the evaluation criteria. How would you be evaluated? Which points you should take care of while writing an essay? So here we have got the evaluation criteria. The first criteria is task completion. So task completion means fulfilling the requirements of the question. Whenever you go for a question, you'll find that there are multiple parts to it. For example, they may tell you that you are supposed to discuss both views and give examples, both views and give your opinion, right? So that's task completion. Have you answered all the questions correctly or not? The second thing that you have to take care of, so in case of a graph, you're supposed to write 150 words. In an essay, you are supposed to write 250 words. And in case your word count is less, obviously you will score less than 6 bands. So first thing you have to take care of is that you have to write down your essay or letter in the essay or graph in the given number of words. You can write more than 250 words, which is fine, but it should not be less than 250 words. In case it has asked to give you some examples, you must give those examples. The task 1, as I said, is 150 words. Task 2 is 250 words. So the first criteria is task completion. The second criteria is cohesion and coherence. Now, when you look at cohesion and coherence, it seems to be very technical, but it is something which is very, very simple. You don't have to worry much about it. Cohesion coherence stands for easy flow of ideas. So when you are writing, it should be seamless. It should be very easy to understand. When somebody reads your essay for the first time, he or she should be able to understand what is written there in a very simple manner, which means nobody should be required to put in a lot of efforts to understand what you have written. That's what cohesion and coherence means. Like, whenever you present your ideas, they are easily understood in a single reading. So here your ability to organize your thoughts is tested. You should be able to organize your thoughts in an easy and simple manner so that people who read it get to understand it without putting in efforts. Clear and precise introduction. So at the beginning of the essay, you should write clear. So we are going to see how to write an introduction, how to write the body, how to write conclusion. We are going to write an essay as well here, so you'll be able to see how to present your thoughts. I'm going to give you a collection of essays written by me at the end of this session. You can use those samples to develop your own writing, so that will be useful to you. You're supposed to write 2 to 3 body paragraphs, and at the end, you're supposed to write a conclusion there. The third criteria is vocabulary. Now, what do you mean by vocabulary? Is it that you're supposed to use very difficult words, or you're supposed to use simply contextual words? Some people think that they are supposed to write very difficult words in the essay. So that is not the case. You are supposed to write very simple and contextual words which fit in that context. So people get confused about vocabulary. They think that you are supposed to write very difficult words. That is really not the case. You are supposed to use contextual words which fit in that context very easily. Okay. And the last criteria is that of grammar. So when it comes to grammar, are you supposed to uh, show, or are you supposed to use very complex grammatical structures? What exactly do we mean by grammar? So in grammar, you are tested on two things: range and accuracy. Range stands for what different types of grammatical structures are you able to show in your writing, right? So the simplest way to show your ability to write different types of grammatical structures is to write some long sentences, some short sentences, sometimes sentences starting with though or whereas, and make some simple, complex, and compound sentences where you combine your ideas. We'll see some examples, so this will be clear. So as far as grammar is concerned, you are tested on range as well as accuracy, and you can of course learn some standard phrases to write an essay. So this is the overall evaluation criteria. You are evaluated on 4 parts, which is task completion, cohesion, coherence, vocabulary, and grammar. All right. Now, what is the best way to develop your writing skills? How to write very good essay? What should you do? So there are certain steps which are suggested here, and we'll go through them. Can you all see this graph? Although the font is not very easily readable, but I'll try to use this and I'll explain all the things written here. So whenever you start an essay, there are 4 things in it. You will find that there is a prompt, which is the question. So you can follow this structure. You can follow the structure of prompt, plan, produce, and proofread. I'll quickly take you through these 4 points, and we will then do an essay together. All right. We'll see some latest essays which have come in the test recently, and we'll try to write some essays here. All right. So you will be able to get what I'm saying. Prompt, plan, produce, and proofread. So what do you mean by prompt? Prompt means the question. So the first step should be to understand the question very quickly. What people generally do is they are in a little hurry. So they simply start writing as soon as they read the question. So understanding the prompt is very, very important. You should spend at least 1 to 2 minutes, 1 to 3 minutes, I would say, discussing various aspects of the question to yourself. A little bit of brainstorming as to how you are going to write the essay is very important. So that's what prompt means. The second step is plan. Now, is planning really important? Do we have this luxury of time to plan? And what exactly is the meaning of planning? This is something which is very uh, frequently misunderstood. When I ask you, can you give me a plan? Like if you've got a topic and I ask you, what is your plan? People start writing the essay. So planning is something which is different from execution, and this is something which you have to pay attention to when you write an essay. Many people start writing the essay when they are asked to write a plan for the essay. And we'll see this, that planning is something which is very different from writing. The third step is to produce the essay or to write an actual essay. And the fourth step is to proofread. Okay. Now, without going into all the theory of writing and things which you might find on internet in various presentations and everything, I would like to get straight to some essays and let us try to plan some answers for the essays. Is it a good idea to go through some topics and see how to write them? Because all this is written here, it's all in the form of theory and I can send it to you. But let us see it in action. Let us see how we can apply all these theories directly. Somebody is saying something. Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. I am also interested in doing something more practical rather than beating around the bush and thinking about how to do stuff. Okay, so let me take you to something which is very interesting. I'm going straight to Google. Let me share the screen once again. And I'm trying to pull out some of the recent test questions and we will try to write an essay on that. So here we'll do a live test and live writing and we'll see how we can put our thoughts across. So that would be interesting. Just give me one minute, please. I'm simply writing latest IELTS essay topics. So let us go to some site, maybe this one, and let us see which topics have come. Let me take some other site. This seems to be too messed up. 50 recent IELTS essay questions. This seems to be good. 100 IELTS essay questions. This seems to be the latest ones. Let me just scroll down and go to any topic here. Which topic would you like to take? Okay, let me ask you only. Some people think that illegal internet downloads are having negative effect on music industry. Others feel that they have little or no impact on artists. Should both views discuss both views and give your opinion? Actually, I've written an essay already on this topic. In case you want to, we can just discuss this and I can show you the answer directly. Some people think that exams are a good way of assessing a student's level. Others people believe that they put unnecessary pressure on young learners and tell us very little about their actual ability. Discuss both views and give your opinion. So they are saying that exams are taking an exam is not a valid way. Successful sportsmen can earn a great deal more money than people in other important professions. Some people think that this is fully justified, but others view are they give I mean others think it is unfair. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Which topic would you like to discuss? My purpose here would be, so basically, let me put it like this. In this session, rather than writing an essay, we will discuss about multiple topics, and we'll discuss about how to plan. And after the session, I'll give you around 100 written essays. How about that? Or we write an essay here in the class. What do you want? Let me ask you. So it is, I want you to drive this session. In case you want me to write an essay and show it to you, I can write an essay and show it to you. In case you want me to discuss multiple essays in this session and give you a plan how to write different essays, and then I give all those essays already written, I can do that. Okay. I want you all to participate and tell me. It should be all driven by you. I can do whatever I want to otherwise. Discuss the types of essays, sir. Discuss essays, sir. Write essay live. Okay, so let me first discuss multiple essays. I mean, all the types. Anyone else has any other ideas about it? So, what I'll do is write essay live. Kirtan, I'll send a video where I have written a live essay and I'll send it to you. And here, let us discuss all the essays, because in the given time span, we would be able to do multiple topics, and this would be interesting, right? You would be able to know about multiple topics. Otherwise, if I write an essay, it's just one topic on which I would have written. And instead of that, in any case, I'm going to send you multiple essays on all the different types of topics, so that would always be there with you. So I'll discuss these topics here. All right, so let me start with something down, because these seems to be all discussed already. Let me start from 17th one. I'm just picking up this number. Some people think that plastic shopping bags should be banned because they contribute to land and sea pollution. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So before I go into this kind of essay, I would just give you a little idea in maybe 2 minutes to talk about different types of essays. So what are the different types of essays? Let's just quickly understand this, and why should we know about different types of essays? If we categorize the essays into different types, it becomes very easy for us to write quickly, because the format and the template is going to remain the same. So let me write down a few types which I remember right now. One type of essay which I see is cause and effect type of essay, where they start with why, and they say what is the impact of it. Why is there so much traffic on roads, and what is the impact on the lives of people? Why is there so much pollution, and what is the impact of it on the lives of people? Why do many students go to school, and how does school affect a person's probability of success, or a person's ability to contribute to the society? So what is the purpose of a school, and how does it help a person? Why is there so much of, why are the diseases, why different types of diseases and pandemics are on the rise, and what is its effect? Now, in place of effect, this is one type. Another is causes and preventive measures. What are the causes of pollution? How can we prevent it? What are the causes of diseases? How can we prevent them? What are the causes of poverty, and how can we elevate people's lives? How can we solve this problem? So cause and effect is one, cause and preventive measures is second. What is the third category? They will tell you about a problem and the probable solution, and will ask you about your opinion. So we can call it as an opinion essay, wherein they can say discuss both views and give your opinion. So I would categorize this one, which topic was that? Plastic shopping bags, yeah, 17, this one. Yeah, somebody was saying something. So plastic shopping bags should be banned. Now this is what? This is a solution that they have proposed, isn't it? and they have not told about pollution or anything else. You know, it's about a solution. Plastic problem. This banning of plastic bags is a sort of solution to a problem. You know, so there's something. There is a hidden agenda here. You know, the problem is that of pollution and all the problems caused by plastic bags, right? And if we don't discuss it, then we would have missed the hidden agenda. Some people think that plastic bags should be banned because they contribute to land and sea pollution. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Now, what is the meaning of this question? This is a very typical format of an IELTS question where they say, to what extent do you agree or disagree? So on a scale of 100, let's say this is my 0 and this is this 100 and this is this 100, minus 100 and 100. So I call this as, let's say, agree. This is my domain of agree and this is my domain of disagree, right? I can lie anywhere. Okay, I can, let's say, completely agree to this. I can be on this extent where I'm 100% agreeing, which means I'm not disagreeing. Or I can be in the middle where I can say that, all right, fine, banning is fine, but you know, these can be the problems associated with banning it. These can be the problems associated with not banning it. Or I can be totally disagreeing to it, saying that no, 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 banning the plastic bags is not a solution. So I have all the choices available with me when it says, to what extent do you agree or disagree? So this kind of question gives us a complete flexibility of taking certain side. If you simply say, yeah, I agree to it, that is one way of looking at it. If you simply say, I disagree to it, that is one way of delving this problem. Or you can be somewhere in between, that we should limit its use, but we should not totally ban it. So this is one very important thing, and I always say that you should start with the conclusion. You should write down your conclusion first. So this is kind of a little reverse engineering. What you really want to say at the end. Now again, conclusion would, it would be unfair to write something unless you know what you want to write, right? So you can say yes, they should be banned, and no, they should not be banned. Okay, so why should they be banned? Well, they cause a lot of pollution, fishes die. So for fishes and for marine creatures, these plastic bags is definitely a cause of a big problem, right? This is the thing. Some people think that plastic bags should be banned because they contribute to land and sea pollution. So I can talk about land pollution also, and you know, all those landfills. uh, Plastic is not something which is biodegradable, so it causes pollution here. It should not be banned. Can you give me some points? Why should plastic bags not be banned? Is it a good thing that, you know, is there something in favor of plastic bags not being banned, or they should simply be banned? You can write it, you can speak whatever you want to, you can do that. Any idea why should plastic bag not be banned? Or I mean, yeah, it should be banned directly. You all favor banning it. Is there anyone here who has also prepared for SAT, which is an English? Okay, there's somebody saying something. Let me see. No alternative, cheap container of things used to store. So yeah, it makes sense. It is very cheap, and it is something which is um, it does not lead to any kind of, yeah. Anyone else? Okay. Um, has anyone got any point or anything? Or I would like to tell you something which I read recently. So basically, there is a test called as SATs. SATs for admission to US universities, and there was one big essay on plastic bag ban there. It very in a very elaborate fashion, it talked about how banning the plastic bags can cause a lot of diseases. So if you ban the plastic bags, you will end up using jute bags or paper bags, right? If you start using paper bags or jute bags, the kind of bacteria that gets developed in paper bag or a jute bag when you use it to store any eatable is much higher as compared to plastic bags. So in some city of US, this actually happened. The cases of pneumonia started rising with the banning of plastic bags because they started using paper bags, and paper bag was susceptible to bacterial infection, and it caused more deaths and more diseases just because they banned plastic bags. So the research suggests that plastic bag is something which is very good. Banning it completely might not be a very good idea. And as such, plastic bag by itself is not a problem. The disposal of plastic bag is a problem, isn't it? For that matter, we should ban everything then. A car is not bad, but improper use of it, not getting it serviced, and excessive use of it is a problem, isn't it? So banning plastic bag might not be the best idea according to me. So now if you have this kind of argument there with you, if you know what you are speaking about, then you can say that. But yes, this is a very good way of knowing what you know, of writing and making it, bringing it to your conscious memory. कई बार हमें कई चीज़ें पता होती हैं लेकिन हम अगर लिखते नहीं हैं तो याद नहीं आती उस समय. So you can make this kind of T table. This T table helps you to jot down all the things in which are there in your mind. You can dump it here and then you can make points related to it. The collection of essays that I'm going to give has an essay on plastic bag, and this topic is also there. So now you can write about it, and you can, so basically now if I were to write an essay on this, my conclusion is this, that, so I'll say, to conclude, I am not in favor of banning the plastic bags. To conclude, given that, so I'll give a reason. Plastic bags are the cheapest way, or using plastic bag is a cheap way to carry different types of items, right from food to others. I'm not in favor of banning them. That would be my conclusion. And based on that conclusion, I will write my arguments in the body. So rather than uh, thinking about the body first and then writing the conclusion, I would write the conclusion first. So I would know what exactly am I supposed to write, and then I will structure my thoughts while writing the body of the essay. Okay. One more thing which I want to discuss here is how to write introduction, how to write your body paragraphs, how to write your conclusion. So first of all, how to write your introduction. And what is the purpose of the introduction? I have a formula for you here. You can use a 3 sentences formula. Do you want to know this formula? So write down yes if you want me to write. Just 3 sentences. There's a formula that you can always use, and this particular formula actually helped a lot of people. There was a girl who used to think a lot before writing the introduction. I told her this formula and she started using it, and it became very easy for her to write. So this is a very good formula to make you really swift. I'm going to give you this formula to you, and you can use this to write very simple introductions. Whenever you want to write an introduction, think of just 3 sentences. The first sentence is state the obvious. So I'm writing it here. State the obvious. The second sentence is state your opinion. And the third sentence is invite for further discussion. All right, just use this formula and you can write any introduction within 2 to 3 minutes. All right, let's see, not even 2 to 3 minutes. I mean, your brain would have some kind of at least, what do you call, a path for you to write कि मुझे अब क्या करना है, अब क्या करना है, अब क्या करना है. सबसे पहले I will talk about something which is very obvious, like for example, plastic shopping bags should be banned because they contribute to land pollution. State the obvious. What is the obvious thing? Obvious means जिसपे दिमाग ना लगाना पड़े, which you can directly write, which is like a no-brainer, right? There has been a lot of discussion about various ways to control pollution, and banning plastic bags is one of the ways suggested by some people. Isn't it obvious? So what you're doing, you are providing a launch pad for the thoughts. You're not telling whether they should be banned or not. आप एक obvious सी बात state कर रहे हो. You're telling something which everybody knows. There has been a lot of discussion about various ways of controlling pollution, comma, and banning plastic bags is one of the ways suggested by some people. State the obvious, which is like a neutral statement. You can start your essay with a neutral statement, which you can always structure it. There has been a lot of discussion about whatever the topic is, you can write about it, right? The second statement is state your opinion. So come straight to what you want to say. While there can be, like for example, in my mind, what I was thinking was plastic bags should not be banned. So if they should not be banned, I have to give a little reason, and I have to structure it in a little what do you call, abstract way right now, because it's not a conclusion, it's just a proposition. I mean, it's a proposal, not proposition, it's a proposal. I'm suggesting, while there can be some advantages of banning plastic bags, in my opinion, it would be a big mistake, or I do not advocate taking such a drastic step. So what I'm saying is, while there can be some advantages of banning the plastic bags, I think that this would be a very drastic step, and some simple ways could be possible. What am I doing? I stated the obvious. Now I'm coming straight to what I think about it. So I'm very clear. I'm not beating around the bush. The reader gets an idea what he is going to discuss in the essay. So my opinion and what is there in my mind is already clear. Some people have the opinion that in your introduction you should not tell your opinion directly. Now there are different views about it. As far as I am concerned, I would rather like to straight away tell what is there in my mind, rather than keeping it for the end, you know because that sets up sort of an agenda for the whole essay. You know what you're going to say, and it saves time for you, for the examiner, and it goes well, isn't it? So first sentences state the obvious, second sentences state your opinion, and third sentences invite for further discussion. So how did we write? I'll tell you. There has been a lot of discussion about various ways of controlling pollution, and banning plastic waste is one of the ways suggested by some people. Full stop. While there can be some advantages of banning the plastic waste bags, I think this would be a very drastic step. Full stop. This essay will discuss. Now, this is what? Invite for further discussion. Now, this is the third line. This essay will discuss both the aspects and argue in favor of not banning the plastic bags. Okay, now let us take any topic and let us translate it into three sentences. All right, let's take it like a game. Let's my what do you call, approach is to gamify everything. How about converting everything into a game? If it becomes a game, it will become very easy. Every time we know that these are the steps to win the game, isn't it? Let's take some more topics, some random topics from this one, and let's try to think about a three-sentence introduction. Okay, let's pick up any topic. Let's take at random this topic. Please read it, and in case you can give me a three-sentence introduction, please give me an introduction. So just read the topic and think about an introduction what you would like to write. The first, let me just give you a little hint. Your first statement is going to be something which is an obvious statement. State the obvious. Second statement is going to be your opinion. So it could be in the tone of yes, 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 or no, 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 no. And the third would be invite for further discussion. 3 minutes for you to write an introduction. Although I asked you to write the introduction directly, but I would now like you to have a little idea of what you want to say. So, in case you want to gather your thoughts, it is okay to gather your thoughts first. You can first write the conclusion. You can think about the conclusion first so that you know what you are going to say in the introduction. This is very important. There has to be one message that should pass in the essay, isn't it? Whatever you wrote in the introduction should also reverberate or reflect in the conclusion. It should not be like introduction kuch aur, conclusion kuch aur. Is there anyone who would like to discuss or say something about the topic before I get into it? See, this is a very interesting topic. Should I start or you have some points to discuss first? See, this particular talk, yeah, somebody wrote something.
Sir, we are writing introduction, sir.
Customer review is very important while we buy a product, as we need to know how the product is working uh, before we take it. All right, so this is like an obvious statement that you have written. Thank you so much. Uh, I see your name is Ankita Vartak, right? So thank you, Ankita. I don't know your real name, but that's fine. So this is fine. This is fine. You can always write like this, saying that customer review is very important. So basically, your bent of mind, I can see what you're saying. What you're saying is very important. Yeah. While we buy a product, as we need to know how the product is working before we take it. Yes. Which means you are going to say that yeah, it is the most important thing in making a buy or no buy decision. Is that what you're going to say later? Nowadays, the shopping in online are common, which is cheap and less time consuming process. So having a clear idea of how the product or goods are working in this, we going to see how it plays a major role in purchasing. Now see, there are very important points to consider. You know, here this topic is not as um, I would use the term easy as it looks like. The most useful tool. Now, when you say the most, Aishwarya Rai is the most beautiful girl in the world. When you use this kind of superlative, it means this is the only thing. It is a comparative term, the most useful tool. So, when you say the most useful, you are actually telling that other tools or other ways of knowing the usefulness of an item is not as important. So, is it the most useful tool? Many people use customer reviews on the internet to make decisions about what they buy. Are customer reviews the most useful tool to use when making a purchase? Is it the most useful tool? See, every argument would have two sides. Somebody might say that apart from this, there can be some other tools as well. Let me see some other things. Nowadays, most people are interested in buying online products based on reviews. In my opinion, it is necessary aspect. See, necessary aspect is one, but is it the most important, the most useful tool? So you have to pay attention to the words there in the question. If you say it is the most useful tool, yeah, you can always say that it is the most useful tool, but then you have to support it and you have to make comparisons with other tools available in the market or other criteria which people use. So why is online review the most important tool? You'll have to justify that. And again, there would be two aspects to it. Well, let me just make a table here. It would be fun. So it is most useful tool, and I'm saying it is not most useful. Okay, let me first say it is most useful. Well, it is most easily available. It is easily available. You can directly read it on a Flipkart or whatever tool you are using. The second point is that there are lots of people and it is considered to be unbiased. You get to read the pluses as well as minuses, the advantages as well as disadvantages. So it is easy, it is easily accessible. What else? Just give me 1 minute, please. Any other point that makes it the most useful tool? So it is given by people who have supposedly used it, so that is why it is the most useful tool, isn't it? What could be the reasons that it is not the most useful tool? Can somebody tell me that these reviews are is not really very useful? I'm an IELTS trainer, and I'll always say that I'm the best. And I take reviews from people, and I put only the positive reviews of people. Those people who have said good things about me, I'll put that in my review. Will I ever write anything which is not good about me? Will I really publish it? Even if people write bad reviews about me, can I manipulate it? Can I put all the positive reviews? Can I inflate them if I'm the seller? If I'm maintaining a website of my own, what would I write? So this thing can be easily manipulated. The seller can write 10 reviews of his own, and this is something known. It's not something which you don't know, right? So yeah, let me see. Okay, he has written one more introduction. Ankita has written something. It is advisable to take customer review in consideration, but we cannot completely rely on reviews as it cannot be trusted totally until we use it by ourselves. Makes sense. Makes sense. And of course, there can be some other ways of knowing the product also. You know, you can also always ask. So, what are the other ways? Let us see. What are the other ways? If you do not rely on the review, let's say like today somebody called me up. He's my ex-boss. Today he called me up. He started taking some online classes. He was asking me about this product. This is called as Wacom slate, which we use for writing. So he bought it, and he wanted to ask me whether it works well or not. So I told him that, yeah, it is a fantastic product. I'm using for 2 years. He said on the website, when I go, 10 people have said good things about you. 20 people are saying that it's not a good product. What do I do? I told him, sir, it is very good for me. It's within my budget and it is working well. He said, okay, I'll buy it. So he disregarded all the opinions given there on the website. He took my opinion more. So, people give more value to their friends' opinions, isn't it? To their friends' opinions. You buy a car based on what your relatives say. You buy shoes based on what your relatives say. You buy a house based on what your relatives say. You take a career based on what your relatives and friends say, isn't it? To a great extent. I mean, of course, you have your own choice also, but then do you really care about reviews given by somebody whom you don't know? So I can always argue that, well, this is definitely one of the ways of deciding, but it is not the most useful tool. So so it's very important to go a little deeper into the topic. And all answers are right answers. There's nothing wrong in if you say that, yeah, it is most useful tool. All that I'm saying is that it should be substantiated with very cogent and forceful arguments. If it is most useful means most useful, which means all others are not that useful. There has to be some reasons that you have to give. Don't go by emotions. You know, if you give just 3 points which make it most useful, you can always say, yeah, it is most useful because it is not biased. We get to read the positives as well as negatives, and it is something which is most easily available. These three things, just that we have to make I mean, we should be cautious that the source is authentic. The website from which we are purchasing stuff is something which is trustworthy. So you can always say, yeah, that it is coming from people who are not directly involved. It is coming from people who have purchased it. So you can say it's the most useful tool, but then you have to justify it with that, giving three reasons why it is most useful. A, B, C, tuck, tuck, tuck. And if you say it is not most useful, you have to tell why is it not most useful. And then if I say that B is greater than A, B is greater than A, which, sorry, what am I, B is greater than A, then I have to tell how B is greater than A and how A is smaller than B, isn't it? So if I say that this is not the most useful tool, I'll have to tell what is the most useful tool then. And why does this not qualify as the most useful tool? Well, friends' opinions is the most useful tool, and our friends are the ones who give us very honest opinion, whereas whatever website says or the content of a website can always be manipulated by the sellers themselves, isn't it? This is how you are supposed to write the essay. A very good analysis is required before writing. And as I told you at the beginning, some people directly write the essay without thinking much about the words. These words make a huge difference to the meaning of the essay, isn't it? Where was that? Mm, yeah, this word, most useful tool. It's not saying it's just useful, it's most useful. Most is a superlative. So you have to pay attention to that. Okay, one more thing. So basically, we just discussed about how to write an introduction. Should I give you a formula to write the body paragraphs also, which was like introduction? How to write a body paragraph? For introduction, there were 3 steps. I told you about state the obvious, state your opinion, and then invite for further discussion. Should there be such kind of, would you like to know a little such format or a template to write body paragraphs also? Will it be useful? All of you have to say yes before I write. I need some motivation. Should I give you a simple formula to write body paragraphs? I see two people saying yes, rest of them are sleeping, or they are not finding it as interesting, or they already know it. Okay, so let me tell you that whenever you write a formula, follow this structure, which is P E E. PE stands for point, example, and explanation. So you can always follow this structure. Start with the point, then give an example, then give an explanation. So what is the point? The point is, well, in online marketing, yeah, when people purchase uh, various articles or various items directly from a website, customer reviews definitely play an important role. But there are other factors which are more important than customer reviews. For example, many people, for example, uh, buyers give more attention to or more value to their own experience and the experience of their friends while purchasing various items from internet. When and then you can quote some personal or impersonal example. Many of my friends ask my opinion to buy different. So when I bought a laptop, an HP laptop, many of my friends asked me about uh, how my laptop was working, and without reading the reviews, they bought it. You can further expand the example. Similarly, we give, so you can generalize it by saying we give more importance to what our relatives say or what our friends use rather than what is written on the website. So you are giving an example that, see, this is more important, right? What is another thing that you look for? Isn't the product's reputation itself plays a very important role? So if it is an iPhone, nobody would care whether it is whatever others are saying. If it's an iPhone, and if people are, so people have this brand, well, iPhone, or what do you call, Apple itself has a, what is that brand value? People value the brand itself more than what people say, what others say. So this is something which is more important, and yeah, one can always say that this is what people refer to. So you can have one or two points that substantiate your views, and then you can write a conclusion. So if you have a very clear idea, you can always draft your paragraphs like this. Okay, let me come back to it. So point, example, and explanation. Whenever you want to write a body paragraph, think about the point, think about the examples, think about, then write an explanation. So point is, it is true that people do read reviews. However, it is not the most important factor in making buy or not buy decisions. People give more, full stop, and then you can. So this is the point. Now what is the example? People give more attention to other factors such as people's opinion and the brand value. And now you can give two examples about people's opinions or friends' opinions and brand value. All right. And then in the next paragraph, you can further talk about why people give less importance to the reviews. Another reason for giving less importance to reviews is that it is given by people not known to us. So their authenticity of views, the authenticity of their views is questionable. It is also a known fact that many websites manipulate those views to just or inflate the views just to uh, achieve their sales targets. So people are very skeptical about what is written on internet. They give more value to people, to the opinion of people whom they know. And then you can, uh, even if you want, you can always give an example which is a negative example also, and then you can write a conclusion, right? So uh, I think the crux of this whole discussion is that whenever you write an essay, your plan is very important. You should not write directly, and there are lots of ifs and buts between lips and cups. And if you read the question very carefully, you'll find that it can go in many directions. All right. So, any questions you have about this before we go for one more topic in today's class, and then I'll send you the essay topics?
So can I say something?
Yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so what will you advise me? If we can write both the, like you said about the customer reviews on the internet.
Yes.
So we always have to stick with one point that it is useful or it is not useful, or we can state both in different body paragraphs, like one body paragraph for saying that how it is useful, and second that it is not useful, or how it can like we cannot depend on other people's review. So we can say both in two different paragraphs with the examples and explanation, like that we
Yeah,
can.
that's a very good question, and thank you for asking that. And this is something which is interesting to note. So when you say that customer reviews are also important, and they do play some uh, role, or they I should not say they play a significant role, or they are also considered by people. You can always say that, well, it is one of the factors which is considered, but it is not most important factor. When you look at it from the perspective of a lawyer pays attention to every word. So, how can we structure it? Um, One way to say that A is greater than B is by talking about numbers. So you can say that while some people give importance to the reviews, the majority depends on, yeah, gives higher value to the opinions of their friends and family members and the brand value of the product. So you're saying that both of them are important, both of them get some due consideration, but B gets more consideration or a higher consideration than A. Does it answer your question?
Yes, sir. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. So you can say A is also right, B is also right, but more people go with B rather than A. So you don't have to say that A is absolutely wrong. You
Okay.
can say
So
that, yeah,
So in conclusion, we can write that, no, like what you said now, that
yeah,
yeah, A is greater than B.
yeah, B is greater than A or A is greater than B. That,
Okay, okay.
to conclude, while it is true that some people
Yeah.
take buying decisions based on reviews itself, in my opinion, the opinion of friends and the brand value plays a far more important role than what is written on one particular website. So you are giving due consideration to the people's opinion or the reviews also, but what you are saying is, what you are talking about is the comparison, that as compared to, so like there are two doctors, it's like that, and you are giving more importance to, or you are giving higher value to one doctor than the other doctor. You're not discarding his views, but if there are two doctors and both of them have given you some medicine, you cannot take two medicines together, so you're taking this person's medicine. It's like that. So yeah, you can structure your thoughts like this. And yeah, this is sometimes a very subtle thing to talk about, and you can, you deal it with this like this. Yes, any other questions we have around this one? Okay, this is one more. Some people say that the only reason for learning a foreign language is in order to travel or work in a foreign country. So now see, this is very myopic. It's trying to say this is the only reason people learn a foreign language. Chota sa reason. Others say that uh, that these are not the only reasons why some should learn a foreign language. discuss both views and give your opinion. So there can be some other reasons also. Now this is whether this is the side of the truth or this is true. Let's see. Some people say that the only reason for learning a foreign language is in order to travel to a foreign country. Others say that these are not the only reasons why someone should learn a foreign language. So what could be the reasons to learn? Discuss both sides and give your opinion. Now this essay has two parts to them. Why should people learn a foreign language? And what is a bigger reason? And if as I always say, you start with the conclusion, your conclusion should clearly tell whether you should learn a foreign language only when you are going abroad, or you should learn a foreign language even if you are not going abroad. So if I were to write it, I would say that to conclude, well, it is always advantageous to learn a foreign language if you are going to visit the country where it is spoken, or the native country. However, there are equally strong reasons to learn a foreign language even if we are not going out. So I can write one big paragraph about what can be the other reasons to learn a foreign language. It tells us about various foreign cultures. It makes us um, it makes us more flexible in terms of understanding others' values when we learn a language, and it enhances our knowledge about that particular country even if we are not going there. You can talk about, once you start thinking, you will have lots of examples, and you can pick one or two which really makes sense in that particular scenario. So you can talk about the fact that in today's world, when there are so many what do you call multinational companies, where we deal with those customers sitting in our own country, it makes eminent sense to learn their language. Even if we are not going there, it is always good to learn their language, and you know so that we can serve them better. Like, one of my friends recently got a job with a French company, and in the meeting, some people generally start speaking in French. Now, she is an Indian, she is maintaining their accounts here from India, but then many times she, feels herself like an Alice in the Wonderland when they start talking with each other in French. Although the official language there is English, now she's thinking in terms, so she's making her own efforts to learn French. So you can give these kind of examples. You might also know a lot of people who are working with French companies or Dutch companies or German companies, and they never plan to go out, but they have a very strong reason to learn a foreign language. you know so this is one very important thing, that whenever you think about a topic, don't think as if it is something out of your domain of knowledge. You can always take examples from what you already know from your day-to-day life. But yes, a few important things which I discussed, I would like to sum them up here. Always start with a conclusion, and once you are clear about the conclusion, you can then do a little bit of reverse engineering to know what you want to write in the body paragraphs. you know so and of course, before writing the conclusion, you can always make a T table, wherein you can write yes and no, and write down points which come there, because you don't know. Don't go with the assumption that you already know everything. Your decision should not be based on your emotions. It should be based on the T table, where there are more sides. What do you think is more logical to speak about? Although this T table can also be influenced by your own opinion, and you can extrapolate the side which you support more, but then always make a T table first, which says yes. Like, for example, in this case, the only reason people should learn a foreign language is that when they are going out, or there can be some other reasons. And if you've got enough number of points, you should substantiate that, then write a conclusion, and then write the body. Write the conclusion does not mean write the conclusion, but we have a very clear idea of what you are saying in the conclusion. All right. and then you can draft the body paragraph and the introduction. When you are writing the introduction, in your introduction, you should always write 3 sentences, and these 3 sentences are: state the obvious, state your opinion, and invite for further discussion. This should be very, very precise and simple. 3 sentences in the introduction. And when you write your body, you should follow the structure of PEE. PEE stands for state the point, then an example, then a little bit of explanation. And when you write your conclusion, make it very direct, make it simple, and make sure that you write stuff in a very easy way. And of course, your conclusion should be very precise. It should not talk about all the things. It should state your opinion very clearly. So that's about the writing thing. Any questions you have about writing before we move further? Yes, it is question answers time. You can always ask questions to me, please, in case you have some anything related. I'm going to send you a collection of essays written by me so you can go through them. One good way of learning the writing skill or writing essays is to follow some pre-written essays. So if you've got some essays written, you can simply rewrite them, and that will give you an idea of how to draft your thoughts. Yeah, I'll send it through an email. So I've got your emails. Just register in that WhatsApp group. So I would have your emails there. Write down just put your email addresses there. I have all your the email addresses, but then I would like to have them compiled at one place, so that will be easier for me. Yeah, any other questions you have for me for now? So we have a complete course which comprises of listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And as you have seen, I've sent you some videos. There are participants who have scored excellent marks, and they have been scoring I mean, there are lots of others also. I've got a chance to interview a few of them. And in case you are looking for an excellent coaching or an excellent support where you can prepare for all the aspects of listening, reading, writing, and speaking, we can definitely help you on that. You can contact me on the WhatsApp, or you can call me up and we can discuss about the course. We have courses starting from beginning to the advanced ones. So there are certain courses which are meant to develop your English skills first before we go for writing and reading. Our medium of instruction is Hindi and English. So even if you come from a Hindi speaking background, we can help you develop your English skills first, and then we can go about building it up, talking about IELTS or TOEFL or whatever test you are planning to take. We also have classes on SAT, and students have been scoring excellent marks there. The latest students scored 1500 on 1600 in SAT, and so there are students from India as well as US who are doing it. So fine, in case you are interested in doing the whole course, you can always call me. Please send your email addresses in the group. I'm going to send a complete essay, a list of essays to me. I've been kind of compiling all those essays for quite some time, and they're on varied topics. You start reading them from the last essay instead of the first essay. Start from the last one, and you can take them as a roadmap to develop your own writing skills. In case you have any questions later, you are most welcome to write to me or ask me. I would be very happy to help you in every possible way. All right. So thank you so much. Thank you for attending. Thank you for all your time. My father says that the most important thing anyone can give anybody is time. So thank you for giving your time to me. And I wish all success to all of you. Thank you so much.